Hi everyone, it's Jen Norix here from Faithful Ally. Just had some thoughts today as I was reading the Gospel of Matthew that I wanted to briefly share with you. I was reading from chapter 2 of Matthew. It's about the wise men or the magi. We often see them depicted in the nativity scenes at Christmas time because they heard of Jesus's birth and came to visit. Scholars tell us that they actually came probably when he was about 2 years old. But nevertheless, they were curious because they had heard that a new king had been born. They had read ancient texts. They were watching the stars. They even had dreams that compelled them to go and find this baby Jesus. And so they set out from the Far East. They were from a different culture, different spiritual practices, different religious beliefs. Jesus was Jewish, his family was Jewish, his countrymen were Jewish, and yet these wise men who were from the East with very different understandings of spirituality, very different understandings of the divine presence, came looking for him. And they even stopped and spoke with Herod, who was the king of Israel, and asked him, where will we find this baby, this new king? And Herod didn't know the answer to their question, but he said, you go and find him, and when you find him, let me know so that I can come and worship too. And we learn later in the story that Herod had no intention of coming and worshiping. Herod was the empire, and he felt threatened. He felt that his power was threatened by the reports of this new baby, this new king who had been born. And so his intention was to actually kill Jesus. And the wise men found Jesus. They found him by following a star. And the scriptures tell us in Matthew 2 that when they found the star, they rejoiced with great joy. They rejoiced with great joy because the one who had compelled them, the divine who had been calling them, who had been making itself known to them in ways that made sense to them, dreams, texts, stars, they found the one that they were looking for. And so I'm often reminded that we are sometimes drawn to the divine in unusual ways. And there are a lot of us, especially in the LGBTQ community, who feel like the things that we've heard about religion, about spirituality, about God, they don't really resonate with us. And so we go looking for something new and something different. And just as the wise men were coming at this from a very different approach than what sort of the establishment would have found to be the traditional way of looking, they came looking, the wise men did, in their own unique way. They came searching. They didn't know enough to not ask questions of the king. They didn't understand probably that Herod would feel that his empire was being threatened. And so I feel like it's a powerful reminder for those who are on the inside in religious institutions to be open, to be aware that sometimes we come seeking God in unusual ways. We hear from the divine, the one who compels us, in ways that don't necessarily fit into the traditional establishment. If you've had any background with religious Christian fundamentalism and evangelicalism, you've probably heard of the 4 spiritual laws or the ABCs of salvation. And those are very conventional ways that it's been explained to us. These are the things that you need to do to come to God. But you know, the divine one is bigger than the 4 spiritual laws or the ABCs of salvation or those conventional ways that the institution has explained to us that God can be found. God can be found in so many different ways. And so my hope for you today, if you are feeling like you're on the outside, like those conventional ways didn't work for you, that they didn't make sense to you, my hope and my prayer for you today is that you will follow the pattern of the wise men. Follow the pattern of ones who came looking and maybe had different questions, who had unique questions, who were looking at things in a whole different way, who couldn't really identify with the establishment, and yet they knew there was something compelling about the divine presence that was calling them to keep looking. My encouragement for you today is to keep looking. The Divine One calls you. The Divine One has graciously placed within each of us the desire to seek something more, to seek something greater. And so today I pray that you will continue to seek, and that you will find the support that you need for a spiritual journey, whether it's here through Faithful Ally, whether it's through people that you have in your own life. I hope and pray that you will continue to follow the one who compels you, and that the noise of the establishment will be drowned out by divine love calling to you. Grace and peace to you.